Not in my backyard, said the alien. The whole concept of NIMBYs, not in my backyard, has been taken to a whole nother level. Look, you'll always see what you're looking for. Now they're looking for racism on the moon.
Oh boy, here we go again. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wants to build a nuclear reactor on the moon, and somehow, not surprisingly, the liberal media thinks it's racist.
If we want to keep growing a population, or if we want to live forever, all right, we're going to need another planet.
So is that the moon? Because I
don't want to live on the moon.
The moon isn't a planet. Sorry.
Right. Is it will it serve as a functional life source eventually for human beings? And B, we know how the age of colonialism worked on this planet. Should we be trying to colonize and saying that there's a keep out zone that not other countries can participate in having?
See, they have to inject race into everything. So we are a human race, and if we use all the resources on this planet, which they say we're doing, then we will need to explore other planets in order to be able to have resources to ensure that the human race continues. And I can guarantee you other countries are looking at it. So it's very naive to think that if we don't do it, no one else will. And I think it's a little bit arrogant, as much as they hate America anyway. But just the light-skinned brother, to always have to interject race into everything, especially when he's just said that the moon is a planet. It just goes to show where their mind is.
The real problem with the colonization history in Western civilization is that there were people already there. Right? There are no moon beings that were displacing.
Well, the real problem there is calling the moon a planet. But anyways, sorry, libs, MAGA is still going to the moon. Listen to the Duff Man.
We're in a race to the moon, in a race with China to the moon. And to have a base on the moon, we need energy. And some of the key locations on the moon, we're going to get solar power. But this fission technology is critically important. And so we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars studying.
You know, Jesse, I know nothing bothers you more than racism. Like, you lose sleep over racism. Like, when you just will not have it. You will not tolerate it. If you see it, you will attack it on sight. How hard did they have to look to find something racist on the moon? I could understand airist because there's no air on the moon. So no matter whether it's Whitey gets there first or not, it's going to suck when he takes a deep breath, correct? Like,
yeah, I predict.
Before frat boy Jesse gets into this, the issue isn't the idea of going to the moon. The issue isn't even really colonialism. The issue is it's the Trump administration putting the idea forward. And when you have a political party that exists purely to oppose what the current administration is saying, they're going to fall into the trap every single time. Guaranteed, if Obama, any Democratic president had said this exact same thing. Look, we're going to go to the moon. It's going to be a opportunity for us to get up there, build, and also explore, because a lot of the technology that does come about that we use in everyday life comes about from space exploration. So it will give us an opportunity to explore, learn new things, come up with new technology, potentially have reactors on the moon. So these are all positive things if it's coming from a Democratic administration. But anything, guaranteed, anything coming out of this administration will be viewed as racist, sexist, or homophobic. Guaranteed.
Space exploration is going to be a problem for liberals, and here's why. We're all assuming that aliens are more advanced than we are. Perhaps rightly, but let's say they're not. Let's say we're more advanced than they are. And when we go get them, we're able to capture them and then perform scientific experiments on their bodies and extract precious minerals from their planets.
Yes.
Hopefully he's being sarcastic, because that does make it look like colonialism is a bad thing, because we're going to just exploit other bodies or other whatever they are, aliens. That's not really making a good argument, Jesse.
for the benefit of humankind.
Of course.
Of course. I can see liberals saying that's racist colonialism. But I disagree. We need to have Martians in museums so people can then look at what we've captured. We need to use the moon as a launch pad to colonize other planets in the solar system so we can just spread humanity all over the place. Because that's what God put us on this earth for, to spread humanity. Not in a sexual way, Dana, but to spread it around.
Said every white colonialist ever in the history of man.
Well, how else do you do it?
Yeah, you did a really good job of spreading that around. Kennedy, Tyson is a brilliant man, and he literally was a part of one of the dumbest conversations I've ever heard. First of all, the moon is not a planet. Second of all, he's like, oh, well, you know, we colonized down here. And again, the moon is a crater. It's not a planet. It's a moon. Yeah. And there's a lot of problems
with
just
rock that's spun off of us.
Yes, and it's a lot of problems.
It's like the Ropers to our Three's Company.
Yes, it really. Well, I would have liked to have seen Furley and Mrs. Roper. I'm just saying, maybe something on the moon. We could have a treaty of some sort. But like, how on the level of what is important in the world right now? Arguing over whether it's going to be a racist moon colonization. Is that really where we're at in the media today?
That CBS This Morning Plus anchor needs to be relieved of airtime for a few weeks to go and have a little bit of a rethink about some of the dumb questions that he asks. Because, you know, as Neil deGrasse Tyson rightly pointed out, in order to colonize beings, you have to have beings. There are no beings there.
Moon beings. I hope they weren't offended by that.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has a phenomenal personality. And I'm a little offended that no one on CBS played Whitey on the Moon by Gil Scott-Heron.
Right.
Rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the Moon. But, you know, it's like the point isn't that the United States wants to build nuclear reactors. I hope we do. I hope we have mini reactors. I hope we have private reactors. Nuclear is absolutely the future if we are going to have energy independence as a country and as a species. But either we're going to do it or someone else is going to do it. I understand that, and I absolutely grant that. I don't think it's Russia because I think they're far more destitute than the rest of the world gives them credit for. I do think China is saving their powder on Taiwan because
I think absolutely China is going for it, and I'm not sure if Russia has a functioning space program that could do it, but somebody else is going to do it, and whoever gets there first is going to have the advantage. And if it's a culture or a belief system that doesn't align with the American culture or belief system, then they're going to be boxed out. So surely you would rather, for the sake of humanity, that the culture and belief system that you are part of is the first one to get there than another entity to box us out. So as I said, it's not even about going to the moon. It's not about, you know, having nuclear reactors on the moon. It's not about any of that. It's purely who came up with the idea. Maybe Trump didn't even come up with the idea. As I say frequently, a lot of the things and policies that are being put forward by this administration, as with any political party, they're recycled ideas from other people. So it may be something that, you know, the Biden administration or Obama administration had thought of, but it's now just being put into motion, and they're going to hate it just because it's coming out of this administration.
this is the kind of place they want to put investment. And of course, I want America to always be the victors in our ongoing Rocky IV battle.
Right.
I just don't want my taxes to go up. That's really, so if they can figure out a way to do this that is tax revenue neutral, I'm on board.
Rosanna, is there ever anything that happens during the Trump era that the news can just, mainstream media could just report the news?
No.
It doesn't matter what it is. They're building a nuclear power plant on the moon, and somehow they connected it to Trumpism and racism. Like they just, at some point you want to say, just take five.
I was just wondering, was there a wink there somewhere? Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I love, if he was my science teacher, I would have been the best student. Sadly, he was not. But anyway, he wasn't even buying that whole.
Yeah, he tried to pivot. Yeah.
He tried to pivot really quickly. But this is what I want to say. The race to outer space has so shifted. Remember when those two astronauts were stuck at the International Space Station for months? Nobody could get them home. Not NASA, not the Russians. It took Elon Musk.
And they were mad at that. They were mad at the racist African American, because Elon Musk is an African American. They were mad at the racist African American saving people from who were literally lost in space. There was a whole show about it, Lost in Space, right? He went up there and he did the thing. He got them back, and people were mad about it. And the media did not pick up on that story. Again, if it had been the other party that did this, then they would have been all over it. It's not about the story, it's about who the story is about.
Private businessman to get his resources together to rescue them at the International Space Station. I mean, times have changed. It's a race to space, and who knows who's going to win this? But it's a big business now.
Yeah,
it's a big business.
Dana, that's a great point, because for a minute there, it looked like private businesses going to the moon was the way to go, because Elon had that amazing thing, but then Amazon had their launch, and everyone was kind of like, oh, maybe we need to go back to NASA. Like, in the range of what's important in the country right now, like on your list, when you wake up in the morning, are you excited about having possible lighting on the moon?
So this is a great question for me, and I'm going to make a confession.
Please.
It's the last thing I care about.
It's on my list. It's number 37. Yeah.
When there's going to be a space launch and it's going to happen during America's newsroom, I could cry.
Yes.
Because I'm going to have to talk about it, and I'm going to have to.
And part of the reason for this, I'm old enough to remember the space shuttle, like when the first space shuttle went up. I'm also old enough to remember when they had that very, very first space shuttle disaster. And what would happen, like in the early years of the space shuttle, except I'm not old enough to remember when they went on the moon, just let me say that. But when in the early years of the space shuttle launches, you'd get time off from school. Everybody would watch it. We live in such an amazing age that even launches are no big deal. Like, it's not even in the newspaper. And that is just a testament to the ingenuity of human beings. We should celebrate that. So when Dana's saying this, and I love Dana, by the way, when she's saying this, it is a reflection of the fact that we made so many technological leaps that it's not a big deal that we're launching a rocket, because it's actually quite safe now and it's less likely for them to explode. We even have Elon Musk that has the reusable rockets that can land back on the launching pad. That's where we are, and that's why we take it for granted. And this is the apathy that is probably one of the biggest threats that we have. Not criticizing Dana, because she's about to make a good point, but we need to make sure that we don't forget that these things 20, 30 years ago would have been a big deal. And we need to take the politics out of it and start thinking about, if we're going to explore space, we're going to need these great minds. We're going to need the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, that's my guy from Virgin, Richard Branson. We need that private enterprise, because the government agencies can't afford it. And they can't be as nimble as some of these private entities, and they don't have the money that these private entities have.
Look at Bill Hemmer and say, "What? I don't know. I'm gonna have to be on the Google. I have to say, like, the only thing I ever cared about was pigs in space,
Right?
And I loved pigs in space. I want nuclear power. I want it here. I want people's electric bills to go down because we have clean nuclear power here. And I know it's probably easier to like build one on the moon right now because of permitting, but I would really love to see us be able to do it in America. And I wish so much that I cared about space, but I don't. And I found this to be a very August type story.
Yes, because I agree with you. Again, I would rather our airports work and our light bills be a little less. And again, looking up to the moon, the full moon, and seeing a nuclear power plant light fly on, I guess that'll be cool for the telescopers out there. But let's clean up our neighborhood first.
I think the point that they're all missing is that the technology that comes out of space exploration and the advances that come out of that. And we have to be thinking ahead. One of the things that people like, but people hate about Elon Musk, he's thinking far into the future. He is thinking about mankind. So all of his businesses are somehow related, and I didn't really understand this until someone pointed this out, to space exploration. So he has the Boring Company, So it's about boring. So that's about life on Mars potentially. He has Tesla, and it has the vehicles that are electric vehicles that, again, could be powered from solar energy on other planets. He has the Neuralink. He has, I always get it wrong if it's Skylink or Starlink, whatever. He has all of these different things. I think he is genuinely trying to ensure that we have an advanced option, or an option to be able to live on other planets. And he messed himself up by becoming political. Some people would argue that him and Doge did incredible things. Other people will say that he did horrible things. But I think what he's contributed to the scientific conversation and contributed to mankind, even just buying Twitter, which is now X, these things I think have been transformative. I think he's one of the greatest minds of our generation. We might look back and say that mind was for evil. You know, who knows? Like, things don't always age well. But so far, the way that I put it on balance, even though I don't agree with everything that he does, I think he's done more good than harm. He's opened up conversation. Doge is fantastic. Every government should have a department of governmental efficiency to look at the things that money is being spent on, and to make sure that it's being spent efficiently, effectively, to make sure that they're utilizing technology in a way that will save the taxpayers money. But long story short, going to the moon is not racist. Colonization is often misdiscussed. I'm not sure if that's a word. And they always talk about the colonization that Western civilization did. They always talk about the colonization that the European countries did. And they don't talk about other things that have happened throughout history. But as I said at the beginning, you will see what you're looking for. If you're looking for racism in everything, that's what you'll see. If you're looking and believe that the world is a rosy place where people don't have ulterior motives, you'll see that too. Neither one is right. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with Wi-Fi and a camera. I could be wrong. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. This is a really small channel, so any subscription means a lot to me. If you've watched it for more than a minute or 2 minutes and found anything entertaining, or you just feel that I got everything completely wrong, you can put that in the comment too, because I try to reply to most of my comments, even the mean ones. Thank you for watching, and make sure you check out some of the other videos I have. I have quite a few videos about Jasmine Crockett. I like to talk about the economy, and I like to react to Greg Gutfeld and a lot of the stuff on Fox. Not because I agree with everything, but because quite often it's a conversation that I can add some nuance to, and also maybe some insight to how the other side sees it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you